I start recording them, though, there's nothing happening. Oh, there it is.
Oh. There it is.
What? Oh, we didn't test our microphones. I hope they work.
All you can do is hope.
I know. I'm hoping for the best. We might need someone to find. You know what? Well, I'll say this second once this is done.
Hey, on with the show. This is it.
Something.
Yeah. Okay. So there we are. Hey, it's Wednesday again.
What's
Hi.
going on?
Hi. It's Real Town. Welcome to Real Town. I'm your mayor. You're humbly.
You're the mayor.
Humbly self-appointed mayor of retail. Retail. How about Real Town? Not retail. Retail can be a real bugger, man. I've worked retail. This is Real Town, and I'm your humble mayor. I'm John.
If you're the mayor, what am I?
What do you want to be?
The mayor-ette?
Okay.
El Chapo got life in prison today.
Oh, I'll be damned.
Really? I thought he was already got life in prison. El Chapo blew his wife kisses before he went into prison forever.
He's going to be blowing something
he got
else
life.
in prison here for
El
long.
Chapo got life.
He's already 68
Didn't they do like
old?
20 movies about him? He's like, they make all kinds of movies about him.
Next Tuesday on NBC, a very special movie of the week.
I see one more thing about Trump I'm going to screen.
One man, one scheme, one desire.
I don't understand
El
it.
Chapo,
It's just so
NBC,
much.
8 o'clock, Tuesday.
My stomach's upset.
What's the matter? Did you have a bad nut or something?
No, you know what it... What?
Like a peanut,
No.
almond.
No.
No, what's the
I had a burp.
There you go. That's working.
You know why? Because we had an outing at work,
Oh, boy.
which is nice.
Who came out?
Everyone.
Wow.
So we went,
Hello.
Hello, Frisco. So
Nothing wrong with that.
there's nothing wrong with that. So we went to. People calling you? Do they know you're on the air?
No, they don't. That's my mechanic, the Pontiacs.
I know someone told
probably-
me I should put my thing on silence so that it doesn't, when it rings, it doesn't take off from the thing. Someone told me that. And I was like, oh, but then I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
Let
what
him
I was
talk.
going to say, let me get comfortable.
Of course.
So what was I saying? Oh, so we did an outing.
Yes.
And it was at a raceway, indoor racing.
Oh.
In Cinnamonson.
Yep.
I just love the name of that town, Cinnamonson, like cinnamon. I never heard of this town.
One of my
I've only
fraternity
lived here
brothers was
4
from
years, but
yeah.
Cinnamonson.
Cinnamon.
They said, oh, we're going to the raceway in
Cinnamonson.
Cinnamonson. And I go, like cinnamon, like the spice? Yeah, cinnamon, but Cinnamonson.
Right.
I said, I'm going to the raceway in Cinnamonson.
Correct.
So
There's another one in
Cinnamonson.
Lehigh Valley that's owned by the same people.
Cinnamonson.
Right.
I just like saying Cinnamonson.
Well, my fraternity brother Joe Thomas was from Cinnamonson.
Cinnamonson.
And he had a little bit of a lisp. So it was
You
like,
said
Joe,
Cinnamonson.
Joe, where do you live again? Cinnamonson.
Cinnamonson.
Okay.
Cinnamonson.
Joe, you want to second that motion? Okay.
That's
second.
a great little town name. I like it. So so it was so funny because they do a lot of things like that. They try to make us bond, and we're a small company, so
Didn't cost them a lot.
it's a bond thing. So, but here's the funny thing is that they sent out a thing. I think on Friday. It was an email on Friday. What is it? Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're thinking about going to the racetrack in Cinnamonson. Just letting you know that's we're going to be leaving. Like 10 in the morning. Blah blah blah. So I'm like, all right, I didn't even pay attention to it. So then Monday, my boss comes in and he's like, we're going to go to Cinnamonson on Wednesday. And I go, oh, for the racing? Yeah, for the racing. I go, yeah, whatever. I'm not going. I'm like, whatever, right? So then this
didn't
morning,
go?
well, wait.
Oh.
This morning I walk in, my boss is like, getting ready to go to Cinnamonson. And I said, oh, I'm going? He goes, oh, it's mandatory. We're all going. Oh, it's mandatory.
You'll have fun and like it.
Luckily, I'm wearing a skirt, but it's a skort, which is a shorts and skirt combination, which is probably the best fashion invention ever. I love it.
Can't speak to it, but I'll take
It's
your word.
fantastic. Well, because it looks like a skirt. You can wear heels with it. You can wear sneakers with it. You can wear flat shoes with it. But then you can open your legs really wide, and it's shorts. Don't go there. Who's a victim? But
exactly.
yeah, but I'm just saying. Yeah, so I'm just saying. It's like so. The
I'll
first
just
thing
get
I'm
over
thinking
here.
is like, so when you get in those race cars,
Right.
you know, you have your foot on the gas, and then you have your foot over here. You don't really need the brake, but then you have your foot, so your legs are open, you know. So the first thing I said is just letting everybody know this is not a skirt; it's a skort. Those are shorts under there, not underwear. So don't get excited because you're not seeing my, vajayjay. You're just seeing shorts. Just letting you know. So luckily I had that on because it would have been really inappropriate. And but then the crazy
Would
thing
have been
is
airy.
there were 3 girls, including myself. The other 2 women were like, well, I'm not doing that.
What?
I'm not racing. I was like, why? I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do that. I go, you're not racing. I said, well, I'm racing.
Yeah.
And I did.
Yeah.
That goes fast.
Yeah.
And it's indoors. I've done the outdoors. I've never done the indoor one.
These are electric, are they not?
Yeah, and they're
And
fast as
they
hell.
are fast.
And not only that, it's
speedy.
not even the, and I like to drive. It's not the speed. It's the curves. When you're taking the curbs, I should say. When you're curves. When you're taking those turns, whatever. So they have all the cushion, so you're not like slamming into a brick wall or anything.
Right.
But if you're going, it's a race. So it's a race for best time, and it's 14 laps, right? And I realized, I said, well, I could do this. I'm a speed demon. I used to drive all the time. No problem. I'm driving. Once the thing picks up, you're like, okay. And then you get to the turn. So I'm trying to be cool and not put the brakes on because no one's putting the brakes on. But they're going around me. I'm the only girl. So, the guys are going like full speed, like 200 miles an hour. And this is me. And like they're like, out of the way. Tracey, why are you so slow? So needless to say, I came in last. I did come in last. But I did complete, the 14 rounds on the track.
Let me tell you
but
something.
I came in last.
That's going to happen if you did this even 1/8 intensely. You're going to be sore tomorrow.
So that's what one of the guys was like. Oh, my foot hurts. I was like, what?
Yep.
But then here's the best part.
Go ahead.
So I did that. That was fun. It was enjoyable. I liked it. I like a little
good time.
speed. It was a good time. But then you know what they had? They had
Alcohol.
no.
Oh, damn it.
It's the middle of the day. I couldn't do that. They had Pac-Man and Space Invaders. So I played both. I got to the 4th level in Pac-Man. Space Invaders, I kicked ass. Space Invaders, I was kicking ass in Space Invaders. I was at like the 6th level or 7th level. Oh, man. And I was flashing back to when I was a kid, and I used to play Space Invaders and
At the
Pac-Man.
arcade.
That was the best. To me, that was better than the racing. Because racing is anxiety for me.
Oh.
I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
Because I'm surrounded by like 14 guys. I mean, there's all these guys around me, and they're like going so freaking fast.
It's like
and
Matt at the Roxbury in go-karts.
Yes.
Boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom. Right?
And a couple of them bumped into me, not on
Right.
purpose. And then one of them was
Doink.
tring to get around me. And then so the
Look out.
flag guy is telling me to go to the outside. He's waving the flag, and I'm on the outside. And people are, "Vroom, vroom,
Right.
vroom." And I'm like, ah, ah. And I'm like, I'm scared because I'm like, are they going to hit me? Because I was going, I wasn't going full speed because I'm like, I don't want to die.
Oh.
I know I won't die, but still. Oh, I got this thing. I hate this thing. So anyway, so Pac-Man and Space Invaders, so much fun. So much fun.
Yeah,
I like
the
that more.
classics never die. I mean, those are the video
I
games
love
from
those.
geez, like what the early 80s. Yeah.
I want to have them in my house. Like I want those
You
things.
could.
But here's the thing with the Space Invaders that was so cool. It's a gun. It's not like a joystick like bup, 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 like with your
Right.
finger. It's a gun. So you're shooting the gun. It's a laser gun. So you're shooting it and you're shooting the Space Invaders. And you're shooting it. There's a big spaceship. There's a big spaceship. Oh, they're going faster. It was so much freaking fun. Mind you, I'm by myself. Nobody else is playing with me. So I'm like, you're gone! Woo! And I'm doing all this stuff, and everyone's just like, they're way on the other end. I don't know where they are. They went to eat. I'm just playing these stupid games. And then, so here's where the upset stomach comes into play, is that
here we go.
they had pizza, and they had Brooklyn pizza, which I like very much.
Good.
So I had 2 pieces of pizza, which is like usually my max. But the Brooklyn pieces are like the square, and they're thick. And I was trying to pick them up with my. It's harder to pick them up with your
Sicilian
hands.
pie.
Yes. Is that Sicilian pie? The
Yeah.
square with the, and there's tons of cheese on top.
Yeah. Ooh.
So it's really hard to pick up. It's not like you fold it like a regular.
Right.
So I was picking it up, but then my hands were getting, I think my fingernails still have tomato. Ew. So, like I washed my hands, but apparently not good enough. So then
Get the brush out.
I tried to like pick it up. I couldn't. So I said, let me do a knife and fork. I mean, which is really, I know with pizza you're not supposed to do that, but I really
know.
couldn't. Take the knife. So then I took a bite, and then I'm chewing, and I've heard a crunch.
Uh-oh.
And I went, what the heck is that? So I took a napkin and spit what was in my mouth out because I thought it was my tooth. Part of the fork came off
Oh.
in my mouth.
Whoops.
Now, here's the weird thing is that I still felt a piece, so I picked it out and I pulled it out, but that wasn't the whole stem. It was only part of the stem. So I'm assuming and I'm hoping that the other part of the fork stem was in the what I spit out or I ingested it, one or the other.
Ay.
Right? So
Ay.
then you kind of lose your appetite. I kind of didn't want to. I was like, this just ruined my appetite. So I had those 2 pieces of pizza, and now I don't feel good. So I have
sorry.
water. Thank God. I'm going to drink some water. But
Thank you, Rube.
I don't feel good.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't feel good with that pizza. I don't feel good at all.
I'm sorry.
So it's
I
not
am
that the
sorry.
pizza. Well, the pizza tasted great. So it's nothing. It's not the I think it's just because like
Just
the
a-
fork
Just a
and
dopey plastic fork.
yeah, it freaked me out. Maybe it made me lose my appetite. I don't know. But now I
Did
have
you
a little.
bring it home, and do you have any left?
I don't bring any. No.
Okay.
Oh, no, not with the fork in it.
Who knew? You didn't know.
Well, I don't know. It freaked me out anyway. So, needless to say, my stomach's like a little like funny right now. So I don't think I'm going to be. I think tonight for dinner I'm having a smoothie or something.
Oh. They are good too. By the place over here.
No, I'm gonna make my own.
Oh, pardon me.
Yeah. Well, tropical smoothie's good, but I'm making my own, man.
I finally
I
saw a
rough it.
commercial for tropical smoothie the other night. I don't know what the heck I was watching. It might have even been the ball game.
I didn't even know they had commercial.
Now you know they have a commercial, tropical smoothie. It's true.
Oh.
You know, like
They're
for the
good, though.
whole company, not for this
Yeah,
exact
yeah.
location.
Their smoothie. You know what's good? Their smoothies are good, but their sandwiches are really good too. So I usually get a smoothie, and their sandwiches they're not too big. They're tiny. You can get a little flatbread.
Right.
So it's not like they fill you up because a smoothie can be filling.
Of course.
But if you put them together, it actually is really really good. But no,
Two great
it was
tastes that
really-
taste great together.
Yeah. You know what? Did you watch back our show last week?
I did not have a chance to.
Because
What happened?
I was laughing pretty hard at us. I don't usually laugh at myself. Like I don't watch it back and go, "Oh, this is funny." Like I go, it's funny to somebody. So, So I'm watching it, and remember we were having the volume issue.
Yes.
And we're like, and Gene kept coming out, going, "I don't know, there's nothing. Something's wrong. Nothing wrong with this. I sound like this is the way you sound. You sound great. There's nothing wrong. I don't
sound
know.
great. Everything's
I don't know.
great.
There's nothing
Go
great. I
ahead.
don't know what's going on."
Sound fantastic.
Well, I listened to it.
Yeah.
I was 10 times louder than you.
Wow.
I was so much louder than you.
What?
And then all of a sudden, we got the same. We were exactly the same.
Is that right?
And I watched it right up to that point, and I was like, I was so much louder than you, and I was like, well, now I get it. Why everybody was like, you're loud. And then you actually see the difference because remember we changed places for a second?
Yeah.
And then we went back?
Yeah.
Well, by the time we got back, then we were at the exact same level.
Somebody was tweaking the potentiometer.
So, yeah. So we were definitely not at the same level.
All right.
So I did what, because I wanted to, I said, wait a second. Frank was saying it, and I was like, there's got to be an issue here. And then I listened, and I said, oh, we actually are, I was much louder. And you were like super quiet. Like it wasn't even
I
like.
am an introvert.
Well, no, I mean more so than normal because I was super loud, but you were like almost. It sounded like you were away from the mic almost.
Well, don't forget, I was a little off for the beginning of the show last week too. I just wasn't. I was a little pensive. I wasn't off. I was a little pensive.
You're pensive. You're pensive.
Yeah.
You're pensive.
Yeah.
So that's it. I hope our levels are good today. Frank, if you're listening, can you please?
Check.
anyways,
HLT,
yeah,
hello test.
I'm gonna keep burping because of that pizza and that fork. I think the fork's gonna come up if I burp.
Oh, it is not.
Yeah, I'm like burping. A piece of fork will fly, like right into the wall.
That's great for the
Wouldn't
show.
that be good?
That'd be great for the
It
show.
might.
Holy
I don't know where that fork is. Hopefully, it's not
Oh, yeah.
stuck in my intestines.
Whoa, God,
Hopefully, I'm
no.
not bleeding internally.
Oh, please.
Well, maybe that'd be a lawsuit, man. I didn't keep the fork, but I had someone sitting next to me when it happened. So I don't know.
Oh boy. I'll sue.
True story.
Sue who? Sue who? I'll sue everybody. Sue you. punitive damages.
Did you see the big power failure blackout in New York City?
I did.
It was pretty.
I wasn't there to see it
significant.
in person, but
Well, on the news, right?
there was a relay that,
Circuit breaker or
that
something.
failed.
Yeah,
Like that.
I was actually there.
Ooh, Ruben,
Yeah.
would you like to give us a first-hand account?
Oh, actually, you know what? It was very eerie.
Where were you?
I was actually
Pennsylvania?
I was on 53rd Street
Oh.
at a Broadway comedy show. I went to go see John Brecco
Oh.
for Round Table. Yeah,
Yes.
I finally actually made it out to see somebody.
Oh, nice, nice.
And right after his show, the lights just went out, right?
Yeah.
So we thought maybe they over plunged the circuit breaker or something
Plunged.
like that at first.
Right.
I
There's a
forgot.
surge, power surge.
They're
Yeah,
like
power
plunging
surge,
the
right.
toilet. Yeah.
And then about 5 minutes later, the manager came out and said the entire half of Manhattan was out,
Keeps us
like
saying
from
island.
Columbus Circle all the way to I think 30th Street.
Yeah.
All the way to Times Square. All was all blackout.
Well, they had to close down Broadway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They actually had the show continue on with the lights out.
Nice.
And as that kind of reminds me, like I and John were just having a discussion about people being jerks and everything.
Right.
Just one guy, everybody in the audience, just one guy and his girlfriend were complaining like, "I want a refund. This is totally unprofessional."
That's not their fault.
Not
I know.
fault. It's,
Yeah,
you know,
that's what I
it's-
said.
No,
I said
did
you got to
did
complain.
t-
You
did
got to call
take
Con
video
Edison.
of them? This is all you have to do. You take video, you put it on YouTube, and let the whole world see what jackasses they are.
Oh yeah. Oh, they
what
were.
we do.
Actually, I was actually helping out a little bit. I actually used my cell phone light.
There you go. See, I would have videoing that and
You know?
posting it just because I like to make
And-
people feel like crap
Yeah.
if they act.
Yeah.
like
So
crap.
everybody was telling them, "Shut up, shut up," and I turned around and gave him a dirty look.
Whoa, hey, take it
Whoa,
easy.
dirty look. Hey,
Okay,
Ruben,
well,
calm
that's
down.
enough.
Calm down.
Everybody take it easy.
Calm
Yeah,
down
calm
with the
down.
dirty looks.
I remember the blackout
Yeah.
of '77 when
Ooh, yeah.
everything went dark. On WABC, they were playing "Do You Want to Make Love or Do You Just Want to Fool Around?"
Didn't they have like
my
a lot of
God.
looting back then, though?
I'm sorry.
They had a lot of looting and everything. At that.
Oh, it was horrible. It was
Yeah.
bad. People behaved poorly,
Ooh.
and yeah, it was it was hot, just like it is
Yep.
now.
Yeah, it was hot too. Yeah.
It was also the summer of
69.
no 77
Okay.
again.
That would be a song. Could you just play along?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
And it was the summer where Son of Sam was running wild, where David Berkowitz was doing his thing, and everybody was
yeah.
all up in arms that there was going to be no control over the the 44 caliber killer, Son of Sam, and then they fixed it, but it was bad. You're right, Ruben. It was a lot of looting. People were again, they behaved badly, very badly. They behaved. So this was I guess what they put the lights back on, the power on.
I think it went on right after midnight.
like 5 hours. I said it was, and you
Yeah.
know, of course,
It reminded me of a little bit of that. What's that movie? I Am
Worst
Legend.
Storyteller.
which one?
Like I Am Legend. Everything's like dark.
I Am Legend with Will Smith when
Yeah.
when the apocalypse
Yeah.
comes and destroys the whole earth. Yeah,
Earth.
it's kind of like that.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
We'll go with that.
Yeah. And I mean, Times Square was like completely black.
Yeah.
Whoa, take it
And-
easy. Take it,
And I was walking with John Brecco, and I was like, oh, when I was walking with him, right, walking down the street, I was like, we should get to the other side of town quick because it's going to get dark in like 20 minutes. It was like 8:45,
Raped.
and there was no lights on, everything like that. And I was like, I wonder what they're going to do when it blackens out and you can't see anything. And a New York cop looked over at me like,
Careful what I wish for.
he gave me like this shocked look at his face, like,
Say, man, don't talk like that, sir. Please, this is an emergency situation. You need to not stir the pot up, please, sir.
don't stir the pot, don't give me
Moving along.
ideas.
Moving along.
Yeah, no one wants to be in New York
Nothing to
City
see
when
there.
there's no lights. But well, it looked like it was a peaceful.
It
outage,
was.
So that's the good thing.
And I have to give New York City a lot of props because everybody without the lights on.
Was cool.
Everybody was actually very community, wise, and they just went on with the show or whatever.
Well, I saw that there were just like regular folks like directing traffic
Yeah,
and helping
everybody
people
was
out and
pitching in.
whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it seemed like the turn events that happened in 1977
Yeah.
is totally different what now happened, 40 years later.
Well, yeah, I would
hope
hope
so.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
You owe me a Coke. Yeah, that was wild. Wild stuff. Yeah, I don't know what the heck I was doing on Saturday. Not roasting my my butt off for one thing, but
Hot.
I love the summer, but there's a point.
Not
to
when
where,
it's 100.
it's going to be supposedly banging on 100 here on Saturday.
I know, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I'm going to the Haskell too, and I feel bad for the horses running in that. That's not for me.
Eddie Haskell.
I just don't like it.
Hello,
I
Mrs.
don't like it.
Cleaver.
But what I wanted to say too, which was we're talking about you never laugh at your own jokes, that kind of thing.
Right.
And I am on social media, but on Twitter, I only use Twitter for entertainment purposes. So I'll talk about like TV shows and movies and so on. I don't really talk about like what I do or anything on Twitter. But so anybody who's I'm obsessed with Friends, as you know. So there is an episode of Friends when New York has a blackout. And Chandler Bing is stuck with Jill Goodacre in the vestibule in the bank. So right away, literally came to me right away. The minute I saw the report, the lights are out in New York, I went to Twitter and I wrote, just wondering if Jill Goodacre is stuck in the vestibule with Chandler Bing. I got like 200 retweets
Whoa.
and shares. Yeah.
Wow.
It was like the most popular tweet I ever had.
Wow.
Apparently it was a pretty popular tweet.
There you go.
And I was
Very
like,
creative.
I didn't know that it was that popular. And people were retweeting it and sharing it and commenting. Like people were going apeshit over my tweet. And I was like, oh.
Yep.
And
That's me.
I think it was funny. I think maybe people thought it was funny. Well, because, most of my life is Friends references anyway. But that was the first thing that I said, well, of course. And if anybody knows Friends, there's a whole episode dedicated to the power outage in New York City. It's an entire episode. So, of course, when it happened, I said, well, of course,
There it is.
Friends. But apparently it was an original statement.
See how nice?
But
We're impacting lives with comedic thoughts.
yeah, we are. We are impacting lives. There's a lot of birthdays going on, too. Birthdays are in July and August are quite frequent.
People have one damn near every day.
This is true, but I noticed that in July and August, it pops up on Facebook like all the time. It's this friend, happy birthday.
Well, Jamie's birthday was last Tuesday.
See?
Dad's birthday was yesterday.
There.
Hey,
Like I said.
Tracy, I
Ruben's
read
birthday's tomorrow.
no,
No?
I'm a cold baby.
You're who?
You're a what?
I'm a winter baby.
What are you from? Shamokin,
Oh, cold
Pennsylvania?
baby. I thought you said cold, like
cold.
COAL,
Yeah,
like coal.
Shamokin,
Oh, cold baby.
Pennsylvania.
Like coal, like,
Like cold. Nah,
Under-
I'm a winter baby. Actually, what Tracy is actually right. I read this article. They said that most babies were born between July, August, and September.
Yeah, that's the true. Well, it's weird as I think 4 people with the exact same birthday as me. What's the odds of that?
It's
Well,
amazing.
you figure November, December, and January,
They're stuck in the house and they're getting busy.
there you go.
Mm-hmm.
They got nothing to do. What are you
There's
doing?
a lot of
Well, I got plenty to do.
Babyface and Luther Vandross going
in the
on
winter,
there.
and especially on the East Coast. I mean, we're not talking like California or Hawaii. I bet you there's more birthdays in the summer in the East Coast and Northeast than there is in the West. That's my take on that. Can we look that up?
There you go.
I might have to look that up.
You may have to.
It
look
is.
that.
It is. But my good friend
valid point.
Rita, it's her birthday today. It's also my friend Gary Gulman, the comedian.
Right.
It's his birthday today.
Oh, I'll be darned.
So say happy birthday to Gary.
Happy
Yes.
birthday to Gary.
Happy birthday,
yeah.
Gary. He's on tour. He's doing really good for himself. But anyways,
Good for him.
happy birthday, everybody.
Yeah,
Just happy birthday. I have a birthday coming.
that's right.
I do.
August.
I do have a birthday. It's on a Monday. What the hell are you doing on Monday? I got to teach on that Monday, and I got to work on that Monday.
Ooh.
Do you know that I teach on Mondays? I teach hip hop, and one of my classes is an adult class.
Oh.
and I like teaching kids. I'm not a big fan of adults.
Wow.
Well, not in general. Just, I mean, I'm just not a big fan of teaching adults. But adults are so judgmental and so like, that's not how you do it. I know how to do it. Like they're very,
Yeah, I don't think you do.
Yeah. Like kids just look at you and they just, okay.
Yep.
All right. Whatever. But adults are like, is that the way you do? Is that the way it's supposed to be done? I don't think you're going fast enough. Oh, you're going too slow. Oh, it's too fast. Like I got to deal with that.
Then why do you do it?
Because I like to teach, but it was assigned to me, so I do it. I just do it. But here's the thing. Nope. So my second week, I had 5 women and a man in my class. So I did half an hour of just nonstop working out, like almost like Zumba like. So I was like sweating and I was like do this side, to the left, and then I did half an hour of choreography to like Sean Paul, just give me the light, so I'm thinking I'm all that right. Then that morning, Tuesday morning,
stiff,
sore. I couldn't even get out of my bed. Felt like I was in a car accident.
Right?
Every part of my body was aching. Does that mean I'm getting old?
Yeah, a little bit.
It was aching. But it's like a good ache.
I understand.
Because you're like, oh, I accomplished something. That's why I'm in pain.
Well, that's what it used to be a few years ago on, let's see, Wednesday morning after Tuesday practice, Friday morning after Thursday night practice, and then Sunday after the Saturday night game. Problem was, the older I got, like in high school, we used to play football, on Saturday afternoon. Sunday, you were a little sore. Monday, you felt it, but by the time Tuesday came around and you were going with your full gear on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practices, I was pretty much recovered. Problem was, a few years ago, I'd have a game on Saturday night, and I would hurt until probably the next Friday.
Right?
only to show
God.
up again and do it again Saturday night, knock some heads, crack some skulls, and then, Sunday morning, why am I doing this? Why? Oh, that's right, it's supposed to be fun.
It's supposed to be fun.
It was. It really was.
I mean, I'm not big into the pain relievers, but I've been taking Advil because I'm like, dude, this pain is ridiculous.
Oh,
it's just like you're getting out and, you're like, oh, I feel great. Then you go to sit up in your bed and you're like, oh, this is painful.
Pain.
It was painful. I'm still in pain. That was what, Monday? What's today, Wednesday?
Pain.
Yeah, I'm still in pain a little bit.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I got an upset stomach from the pizza and the fork. I got muscles hurting me. Atrophied muscles are all like, got problems there.
So gassy.
So gassy, girl.
No.
No. So gassy. I saw a new Little Sweet commercial.
Which one?
The paint with the brick walls and the girl's painting, and then he's all in purple, and then he gets off the wall, and the whole back of him is paint, purple paint. Have you seen that?
I have not seen that
Little
one.
Sweet. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's the sweet one. I love that commercial.
They do make me laugh.
It's funny. I
There
don't
are
know.
those like, oh, that is so stupid.
I think they're funny.
Yes, that's part of the charm. They are kind of dopey, but
They
you
are
know what?
dopey.
But it's so ridiculous that to me it's just funny. It's just it's just
It
again, like
is.
so gassy. I mean, it was
Yeah.
just so ridiculous.
And I still laugh about it.
I do.
No.
Exactly. Right.
That's a good commercial.
Oh, man.
Boys to Men.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I like it. It's the sweet one. Oh yeah.
Well, and not for anything. And I don't have soda very often anymore. I just don't.
Yeah. It's gassy.
Well, not even that.
Oh.
Just I just don't because it just I don't know. It's
Tons of sugar.
Tons
of sugar.
When I do, I will say I have the sugar free. But that's another reason why I don't have a lot of soda anymore because, well, sugar free, it's fine.
But then it has saccharin or aspartame,
NutraSweet,
or
aspartame.
whatever. It's all that crap.
Stop me if I mention this to you. A very good friend of mine, his father used to have a company that supplied the big machinery for pharmaceutical to to make like capsules and pills and whatnot. I mean, the machinery would take up this whole building, very big, and
Very big.
very large. And when we were in our early 20s, he worked for his dad. He was a seller. He was a sales rep, and he would go to this place in Piscataway that made NutraSweet.
Oh.
Okay. And this NutraSweet, part of the process, long story short, was it would go from one machine through a chute about the dimensions of a shoebox. Okay, about a couple few feet long, but shoebox width and depth, and it was 1/4-inch thick stainless steel. And the powder would go from A to B, okay, down this chute. My buddy would have a sale every year to replace this chute because it would wear thin almost
Oh,
through.
no. Oh, no.
And that's when he told me, he's like, you know what? And that's when I gave up diet soda.
Ew.
So every once in a great while, I just have it. Like usually it's when I'm coming back from Pennsylvania on a Sunday night. Once every other time. I'll stop at the Wawa there off of Route 33.
Wah-wah.
And I'm thirsty. I mean, it's a trip.
I'm thirsty.
And I will get Diet Dr. Pepper.
The sweet one.
Thank you. But that's, once, maybe twice a month, where you've got people who, and I know folks who will have soda, like regular soda, for breakfast time,
Ew.
lunchtime.
Ew.
Oh, yeah.
No good. No.
I have a relative. She used to drink. I think it wasn't soda, but it was the iced tea mix. Same thing with all that sugar in it. For breakfast, she'd have whatever for breakfast and the mixed iced tea, like Lipton iced tea mix. Nope. Anyway,
Iced tea.
but that's the one I have.
It's the sweet one.
Yeah, there he is. Yes, it was 1/4-inch stainless steel. Thank you, Miguel.
Was that your friend?
That's him. That's him.
Hey, Miguel.
Remember back then, Mike, when you talked about, that's when I'm pretty much done with diet soda. And, I just don't drink much soda at all.
Yeah, I don't drink it at all.
I go to the grocery store, I get Gatorade, but I get the Gatorade Zero. It has no sugar in
No
it.
sugar. No
Right.
sugar added.
Well,
my mother would not let us drink soda. As a child, we didn't have soda. So the weirdest thing is that I would go to school and my friends all had soda. I
Right.
mean, and then I would try to sip it, and it was the bubbles, the carbonation.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at all. I didn't like that I couldn't just down it. I know
Right.
people can, but I just couldn't because I wasn't used to the carbonation.
Sure.
And I never got used to it. So I don't, not only do I not drink soda, I don't drink anything that's carbonated.
Oh, is that right?
Anything.
Wow.
Sparkling water.
See, because I'll have seltzer. That's the
Yeah, I
thing
can't
that,
do it.
that I've become years ago. I'm like, oh, that's just bland.
Yeah.
But then they started, however many
Flavors.
years ago,
They have flavors.
infusing it with a little bit of flavor,
Yeah.
orange or maybe raspberry or lime
Lemon.
or lemon,
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll do that, because there's no calories on it. There's no sugar or sugar substitute in it. Listen to me talking like Mr. Health.
I know, right?
Ugh, horrible, but it's a necessary thing. And I'll have that, whether it's like the Italian sparkling water, like Pellegrino, or just like the seltzer that you get by the grocery store. I mean,
Right.
the 2 liter. Here, dig this. Boy, they try to get you. At the one end of the soda and drink aisle, you've got the 1 liter bottles of the various seltzers for 79 cents. If you go down to the other end, you've got the 2 liter. Now, granted, the selection is not that good. You've only got lime and I think grapefruit, and I am not a grapefruit.
Grapefruit's not good for you.
I don't like grapefruit taste. I just don't.
What's the difference
but it's
between
2
soda
liters.
and seltzer?
Probably that there's flavor and sugar or sweetener in it. Because seltzer's just basically carbonated water.
Oh, there's no sugar in seltzer.
No.
Oh.
That's why I get it.
That's the difference between soda and seltzer. I
Me,
never knew.
To me.
I don't even know.
But down the other end of the aisle, they got the 2 liter bottles of like lime. I get the ones that are lime flavored for 79 cents.
Oh.
You get
Is this
1
like
liter-
2019, or are you talking about in your,
No,
other,
like
your
the
other
other
life?
No, the other day.
Oh.
No, not when I was an old cranky
When you were,
guy.
when you were an old curmudgeon?
Get off my lawn. I did that the other day again. Suckholes. Can't stand these people. Anyway, But the thing of it is, they try to get you. You got the 1 liter with the several flavors, 79 cents. 38 feet down the
Nice.
way, 2 liters, granted it's lime or plain or grapefruit, for 79 cents. So guess
79
what?
cents.
Yeah, same price, twice as big.
Wow. You can't mix grapefruit and medication. You know that, right?
I wouldn't anyway because I don't like grapefruit.
Yeah. Do you know, like, there's something in grapefruit? I can't remember what it is, but there's something in grapefruit that actually, when mixed with medication, has a certain effect on your body, and it's
Oh.
dangerous.
Yeah.
And if you look at your medications, usually on the label it tells you no grapefruit.
I have seen that.
That's the reason. There's something.
And
in
it doesn't
that's-
affect me because
and,
you will
I don't
never,
want it.
ever catch me eating
want it.
anything grapefruit.
When I was a kid, my grandmother used to cut grapefruits in half
Yeah.
and then put sugar on top of the grapefruit, and then
Right.
you would take a spoon and scoop out the grapefruit with the sugar on top. We used to
Mm-hmm.
do, but that was when I was a kid. I don't do that anymore. I did do that
I
though.
tried that, probably 30 years ago. There was grapefruit was exceedingly popular for whatever reason. I don't know why. It doesn't matter. And I tried exactly that. I think I lasted 3 days, and I'm like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah,
I mean, like as a dessert or like as an in between a meal snack. I'm like,
I do
no.
nuts.
Nuts are good.
Like that's my in between snack. Or if I'm watching
MBTS.
television,
Nuts.
I always have like peanuts, almonds, cashews,
I gotta
pecans.
watch. I love peanuts. I love cashews, but I have got to watch. Here again. I'm like at the retirement home. I gotta watch.
Pistachios.
It gives me the kidney stones. They do.
Do they?
Oh yeah,
Really?
peanuts. That little nub when you break the peanut in half and the one side has that little nub.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good for me. Okay?
Is it really? Is it good for anybody?
Well, if you're not prone to kidney stones, you're fine.
Yeah.
You know, cashews have an absolutely much higher quotient of whatever make up to create kidney stones. So I'm very, very judicious with my
didn't know
peanuts
that.
and cashews. I mean, I drink, and when I have them, and I will from time to time, I drink just a boatload of water or boatload of clear liquid because I gotta keep that flushing. Otherwise, I'm going to be like, kidney stone.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Jeez. Oh, have you ever had one?
No. I don't
had
want it.
I've had 11.
Oh no! Don't you have to pass it through your little hole?
Yeah, buddy.
Oh no!
Kapoing.
That'd be negative. That'd be
Yeah.
a negative.
10 out of the 11. 9 out of the 11 I did myself. The first one I ever had, I had a little drink a lot of like cranberry juice and water assistance, and it came out. The second one
You
I
got
ever
your period?
kind of
Sorry. That's
second
that's
one I
from
ever
that's
had-
from a movie.
put me in the hospital, and they had to
The Departed
ultrasound.
takes place in
Not
Boston.
familiar. I'm so sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Second one, I had to go to the hospital. They had to break it apart with an ultrasound. Put me in a bath. And
Like Space Invaders. But it was your kidney stones.
No,
Oh. I thought it was.
not fun. So if you
Not fun.
not funny.
Not funny.
If you haven't had them by now,
I'm not going to.
You're probably not.
I never will. I refuse to have anything like that.
Well, you can refuse all you want.
I'm not getting
to have all this.
No, it's mental. I mentally told my body, don't have that inside me, and it won't.
I didn't want this whole business last year, and with the with this
That's your
heart
fault.
business. No,
That's
it's
your
not.
fault.
How's that my fault?
Yeah, it is.
How?
Because flashback.
Flashback
I remember
backwards.
you sitting behind me going, oh, ow.
That had nothing to do with my heart.
uh,
That was separate. Separate.
No, but what happened, was a direct correlation to your heart.
No.
That's what you told me.
No, it was not. It was different, and because of this infection that, yes, I will give you, I'm like, no, I'll be fine, don't worry about it. But because of the
Yeah.
infection, they did a whole big once-over and discovered, oh, and by the way, your heart's got an issue. I'm like, what are you talking about? So the good news is...
I thought there was a direct correlation between the two.
No, we finally established that it wasn't. The bad news is I had all that nonsense going on. The good news, I had all that nonsense going on because had I not...
They wouldn't have found.
They wouldn't have
Right,
found, and
that's
who
true.
knows what may have happened.
Right,
you
that's
know?
true.
So, yeah.
Do you know that I
about
wore?
that.
I forgot to mention that I had to sit on a booster seat at the racetrack. I forgot to tell you that.
What?
It just came to me as I was trying to adjust my seat in this seat. I forgot to tell you because we're all lined up. I'm the only girl, and we're all lined up, and I'm getting ready to go, and then I couldn't reach the pedals. So the guy walks over to me. He goes,
"They put a cushion behind you, right?"
No, a booster seat.
Oh.
It's an extra seat, and they put it on you get up, they put it on the chair, and then you have to sit on it. And it makes you get closer to the pedals because I couldn't reach the pedals and I had a booster seat. So then I got up when the race was over and they forgot to take the booster seat out. And one of the guys who's 6'4" went and sat on it and his feet were dangling on the ground and they had to stop the race. And they go, "Why are your feet dangling on the ground?" He got up because my booster seat was still there. I forgot about that part. That's pretty funny. Anyway, sorry, I digress, but it just popped into my head.
There's a place in Jersey City that does them. I'd like to go to. It's called RPM Raceway.
There's also a karaoke place on Wednesday nights.
In
But this
Jersey
seems no around here. But you know what sucks is that we finished too early, and then it's like we're gonna hang out until like 9 o'clock.
I know. And I got responsibilities.
I know.
Blah.
I was just
I would
reading.
love to though. I would love to.
I would love to.
OJ, would you like to go karaoke?
I would love to.
She's good.
The criminal sexual assault case against Kevin Spacey has been dropped.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. It has been dropped.
Do tell. I had heard that there were developments, as it were.
Yeah, and if you remember, I think we talked about it a while
We
ago.
did.
And it was in the Cape in Massachusetts, which he was charged. So it's funny we said that because that was something else on my agenda, but we'll go back to that. But so the reason it was dropped due to the unavailability of the complaining witness. Unavailability of the complaining witness.
Who was the complaining witness?
It was this teenager who met him in a bar and said they were at the bar together, and that Kevin Spacey reached over and grabbed his penis. And then he went home and told his mom. Mind you, he wasn't a little boy. He was not grown, but I mean, he was like 19, I think, 18 or 19, this kid.
So he was of age.
He was of age. He wasn't underage.
Huh.
He was of age, and he was in a bar.
So now he's all of a sudden deciding that, nah.
Yeah. The news comes weeks after a man who claims Spacey groped him in a Nantucket bar in 2016 dropped the lawsuit against the actor.
You know, there once was a man from Nantucket.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What?
And so I know. According to O'Keefe's press release, the accuser, family members, the case began to diminish after the alleged victim asserted his Fifth Amendment rights. See, that's messed up, though. Wow. You know why it's messed up? This is the thing. You just completely. Now, mind you, Kevin Spacey has other issues going on, from what I understand. But this particular case was the one that really elevated it, and it's not even that's right.
I was just going to say, this is the one that kicked Kevin Spacey off the House of Cards.
Correct.
Off of this, off of that, just besmirching his whole entire situation from top to bottom. I'm not saying he's a choir boy. No. I don't know that he's not, but who the hell is? Yeah. Okay? To me, you know what this smacks of to me? Is that
baloney. Here's
a young dude saw somebody famous in a public place, tried to sidle up, cozy up, whatever up to him, and hey, how's it going? You know, either as I'd just like to meet him because he's famous, or maybe an attraction.
And this is what I'm going to say.
The thing of it is, to me, he tried to.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah.
And
agreed.
Spacey was probably like, yeah, fine, okay, good to see you. Fine, now get away, please. And
it may not have been that.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's a hypothesis.
Okay. Hypothetically.
Something to the effect of. So Buddy Boy may have gotten a little bent out of shape. What? Kevin Spacey was mean to me. So you know what I'm going to say?
And his mom was a political. She was in politics. I don't know if she was
I remember
low level.
Correct, but matters not.
Yeah.
So Kevin Spacey was mean to me. So I'm gonna. You know what? I'll show him. And all of a sudden, push came to shove, and the court wanted a little love, and there's no love to give, because guess what? It either didn't happen or didn't happen like
that.
What was put out there.
My take on this, and this is the way I look at it, because he Kevin Spacey has had other accusers other than that one. That was the
Episodes,
big
actually.
one.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it says he was accused of sexual assault and misconduct by several other men. And, that's there. But here's my thing with him, with Kevin Spacey, and this is what I think. Kevin Spacey, and I felt this for many, many years. I'm not talking through all these allegations. I'm talking about back in the, what was that movie I loved so much? American
21?
Beauty?
Oh, yeah.
Is it American Beauty or
Yeah.
was that what it was called, right?
Yeah. Lived next door to the hot,
The
little
hot girl, right.
Yeah.
His daughter was
Yeah.
friends with the
Yeah.
girl, and she was a cheerleader. And
Dude's always,
he was
lifting
pumping up,
weights, the girl
right,
with the
because he was
shirt
the
off in,
girl.
like, January.
And I remember watching American Beauty. Yeah, did I say that? Yeah, American
you
Beauty. So I remember watching it and thinking to myself,
Self.
I thought Kevin Spacey was a gay man. I really did, and I have for many years. So it wasn't due to these allegations. I thought that back in those days, and I used to always observe it. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but it was just one of those things. I'm a strong believer in being who you are.
Right.
I don't care who you sleep with in your bedroom. That's your friggin' business. I don't care if it's gay, straight, whatever. But my thing is this: is that I feel for people who have to hide it. And you have, especially actors and musicians and so forth, sports figures, you have to hide it because we still live in a society that a lot of people still frown upon that, and it is what it is. But with Kevin...
And it can be uncomfortable.
It can be for some, sure.
You know what I mean? And
which is why people hide it.
Well, and there hasn't been often, I can only think of one time in my life where it skeeved me out. I used to do some mobile DJing back in the late '80s, okay, and my boss at the radio station, he had done it for years, and he said, "Listen, if I get double booked, you want the other gig, and you can make like $300-400 a night." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I was making peanuts. I'm 4 years old, 3 years old. Yes, please. So, oh crud, hold on, please. This is the homestead to be continued.
What?
This is my dad.
Oh, that's different. Dad does get a pass on that. So what I was going to say was I do think that something might have transpired between Kevin Spacey and this gentleman. I think there may have been some sort of exchange, definitely. But what I do think is that the boy or man, I think, was seeking some sort of compensation due to the exchange he had with Kevin Spacey. I really strongly believe that something did take place. But, it started to kind of crumble when they're bringing this guy in and he's saying, oh, I got Fifth Amendment rights. I don't have the text that he said he had from Kevin Spacey magically disappeared. Can't find the texts anymore. His mom was no longer cooperating. I mean, it's just kind of sketchy. So, if you're going to take the dive and decide to bring something like this, not only to the courts, but to the public eye and someone who is a famous figure, and then you're putting yourself in the position to be in front of people on television or on the news and accuse someone of famous stature such as Kevin Spacey, then you go all the way. You definitely go through with it. So this guy pretty much started pulling back. So it's very questionable to me. And like I said, I think Kevin Spacey, I think is was a gay man, but I think he was hiding. Because of his fame, and I think he was, hiding his sexuality in order to, because unfortunately, especially when he was, big in the 80s, it wasn't an acceptable lifestyle, and so it was very difficult for him. So I think all these things are coming out now, and hopefully there was no. My thing, as long as they weren't children, if they were, 18 and up, well, who cares? That's kind of the way I look at it. I don't know if I'm wrong, but that's the way I think about it. I think if you're 18 and up, and you're at the age of consent, then what he did is his business. But I don't know enough about the other cases. I just know about this one, and I know that the victim the gentleman who accused him was of age. I think he was 18 or 19 at the time. So, you tend to question those kind of things, and it is what it is. And I'm kind of now it's dropped, and we can, I guess, move on from that. But I think the hardest thing, I think, unfortunately, if you are someone who is homosexual in this day and age, it's difficult, especially if you're an actor or in the public eye, to be forward about it and just to. He's yelling. Oh my goodness, what's going on with John? Oh, the door's open. Anyway, so it's hard to do a show when you're by yourself, Ruben. Ruben, what are you doing? I like having a partner. Where are you, Ruben?
Here I am, Tracy.
There you are. Hi.
Hello. You're doing pretty good.
Well, I was okay, but then I sound like I'm rambling when there's nobody next to me.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, you're doing good.
I'm not talking to myself. I
didn't want to intrude or anything, so I'm just back here editing some pictures.
Well, yeah. I was starting to feel like a crazy person talking to myself because,
Well, I'm going to tell you this.
Go ahead.
I agree with you. If someone's at the age of consent, 18 or older, and I think what it is too, there's too much sugarcoating going on in today's world. So, and plus, if this kid was 18, 19, 20 years old, that means he couldn't handle it like a man because he went home and told his mama.
Correct.
And now, and what happened was, because you have to understand, when you bring somebody to court, you have to have a lot of circumstantial evidence.
Right.
And if you don't have that evidence, he probably started sweating and getting nervous because he had no proof.
Right.
No evidence.
And he was in a bar.
I'll be honest with you. If any man, and probably John probably agree with me with this, if someone comes up to you, any man, and you can say it right or wrong, but if somebody comes up to you and grope you, any man is going to punch you in the face.
Or tell you to get the F off me, or whatever you want to do.
Exactly.
Run away.
I'll give you one, maybe. Okay, I'll give you one. I'm like, yo, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Because again, going back
Call him out.
Before I got interrupted here, I was in my mid-20s doing a Christmas party, DJing a Christmas party at the Williamsport Country Club. Okay, this guy's name is Jim Flexer, and I don't have any problem with using his name. I don't, because you know what? Here's this guy, and again, I don't care what you do, with whom you do what you do, and so forth. But this is me. I don't play for the other team, and I'm playing. It's the Lycoming County New and Used Auto Dealers Group. Okay, and it's at the Williamsport Country Club, and I'm playing dinner music, while they're eating dinner. Kind of like that Linda Ronstadt album that she did that was all the old standards back about.
I remember that.
Okay, that was part of it. He comes up, and he's like, "Oh, that music is wonderful." And I still wasn't, the light didn't go off yet. I'm like, "Oh yeah, little dinner music, Jim," because he was I think the manager of the club, or the restaurant portion of the club. And, well, that music is wonderful. Like, yeah, it's pretty great. I said, perfect for dinner time. People can visit and talk and not think they have to yell. Oh, what else will you be playing during dinner? And I went down a litany of what if you want, why don't I get a bottle of wine and we can just spend some time together? I'm like, how about no? I'm here to work, if that's okay. That's how I played it off. Let me tell you what. I was so ticked off, bent out of shape, and just off my axis the rest of the night, because don't do that to me, A, while I'm working, B, I'm sorry, and if this comes off the way it might, I don't apologize, but can you not see the straight just oozing out of me? Really? Okay? I don't care what you do. I don't. Have fun.
What if it was a woman?
It would have also been awkward, because here's the bottom line. I was working.
Right.
So
it was more so about the fact that you were working.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, no, I'm not going to have a bottle of wine with you and listen to Linda Ronstadt and Nat King Cole and whatever the hell else. No, okay, and to think B, that I'm interested in something, whether it's this 45-year-old guy or a 45-year-old woman when I'm 25, maybe I'm not even 25. I'm like 23 at this point. Okay, no, I'm just not. Okay, so you get one shot. You get one shot, and that was his shot. And I think I countered respectfully, professionally, but pointedly that dog won't hunt. Okay? If you want to go hunting someplace else, please enjoy. I don't care. I have plenty of folks who I know who are cut from that jib, and they're wonderful, wonderful people. Okay?
Yes.
But as a 23-year-old kid,
Yeah, it's
okay,
different. Yeah.
that threw me off. As a 23-year-old kid, just a couple of years out of school, just oozing with testosterone, I got to say, I was not really equipped societally to know how to deal with that. As a 50, almost 5-year-old guy, ain't nothing but a thing.
Ain't nothing but a
Wing.
G thing, baby.
Seriously, I don't care, and I don't mean that I don't give a crap. That's not what I mean. It doesn't matter, is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't matter to me what you do, how you do, with whom you do, when and under what circumstance. But again, you get one shot. So if dude decides to have a go at Uncle John,
Uncle John.
he's gonna get one shot,
Uncle.
so to speak.
Say uncle.
Uncle. And then, but from then, Rube, I got to tell you, it may not be professional,
Right.
it may not be tactful or polite, or it might, but what
Right.
it will be is very pointed. Dude, I just shot you down, and there's a reason for it. If you want me to go into it, if you can't figure it out, I'll be glad to take you to school. Other than that, enjoy what you enjoy with someone else. Now, if you want to sit and talk about, I don't know, the price of tea in China, or whatever else,
Right.
peace in the Middle East, I'll be glad to sit and BS with you all night. I'll chew the fat. I'll do whatever. Okay, but
you're just being honest. I don't.
That's
agree
it.
With,
Yeah,
That's
honesty.
it.
That's
I don't care
this
what
is
you
why
do.
It's called Real Town.
but
Yeah.
your lifestyle does not agree with me. But that doesn't mean I hate you.
no,
I'll be
not
friends
even
with you.
close
We
to
can sit
that.
down and shoot the breeze, whatever.
Yeah.
But just don't. That's like, me joining a KK rally or something like that.
I hear you. It's not for you.
It's not for you.
Not for you. You know what?
uh,
No disrespect to whomever. None at all.
Oh,
But guess
no
what? It's
disrespect.
not for me. That's all. That's
Exactly.
the bottom line.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
John. It's amazing. When I was doing the Uber driver down the shore, I remember this happened last summer. I picked up these 3 females, right?
Right.
And I picked them up from the gay club in Asbury Park. The one girl gets in the car. She goes, tells me, says, Ruben, I don't understand. Well, how come I can't find a good man? All the men in there, they're muscular. And I said, I forgot the girl's name, but I said, they're not looking for Eve. They're looking for Steve.
Yeah. You know what? And so what? So what?
Yeah, so what?
I have relatives. Okay, I have an older aunt and uncle. My aunt is she's related to my father. My uncle, had come in by marriage. Okay, he's got a grandson who's gay. So what?
So what? That's right.
He doesn't care. Now, if there was one guy, that I thought, oh boy, this may be a problem, because he's damn near 92. Okay, he'll be 92 next month.
Wow.
And he's cut out of a very similar piece of cloth as I am, so to speak. And if there's one person who I thought was really going to have a thing with it, it was going to be him. He doesn't, because you know what? Here again, it doesn't matter. Do your
Right.
thing.
It just
Let's
doesn't
do your
matter.
do my thing. Okay.
Just you have your own prerogative.
He's an opera singer over in Germany, and the young fellow. He's probably, I don't know, in late 20s, banging on 30 now, I guess. And but he's a hell of a singer. I've heard pieces that he's done, remarkable. That's what matters, is he's good at what he does. He's a nice young man.
Right.
He and his significant are going to come over from Germany here, I think, next month or early in September, because again, Uncle's birthday is in late August. He's going to be 92.
Oh wow!
And they're coming over, and listening to my uncle speak about these two characters coming over, he couldn't wait. I'm with you, pal. If he was, nice people. That's the bottom line. Decent, good, nice people. Doing good things.
Right.
I don't care what you look like. I don't care where you come from. I don't care where your people were originally from. I don't care who you like, who you love, where you worship, what you do for fun. Are you cool or are you a jerk off? If you're cool, I like you. If you're a jerk off, fix it or go away.
You're absolutely right.
Simple as that.
You're absolutely right.
Simple as that. Hello. Speaking of which, I got to apologize. That was Daddy Elk. Seems that the 33-year-old central air conditioning is having a problem in this extreme heat.
To have your AC messed up.
Yeah. Hello.
No way.
So I don't know what I was expected to do.
No, it's
from the
100.
distance. Yeah.
You
so
can't have messed up AC.
We'll get it figured out.
You can't have messed up AC. So I've been really crying a lot.
Why?
Because they keep showing these documentaries on the people who have passed away, and it's really getting to me, because last night they showed the life of Farrah Fawcett.
Oh,
and
boy.
man, that just gets me. It gets me every time, because she, as an actress, I just thought she was amazing as an actress. I just loved her as an actress. I loved her in The Burning Bed and Extremities.
I remember. That was a groundbreaker.
Small Sacrifices was another one. Well, yeah, and actually, when she did The Burning Bed, that's when domestic abuse started to really get recognized as a problem in this country.
So I say it was a groundbreaker.
It was absolutely groundbreaker, and she was so good in it. And I remember watching it on TV at my grandmother's house when I was young, and going, this is happens. And then it's crazy, because my mother was a victim of that. I have been a victim of that, and I loved Farrah Fawcett. But when she died, she actually recorded her entire journey through when she first got diagnosed with cancer, and the chemotherapy she went through, and it was so heartbreaking. And there's one thing, she was with her longtime partner, Ryan O'Neal.
Ryan O'Neal, yeah.
And her and Ryan O'Neal went to Germany to try to find alternative medicine, because obviously they weren't giving her much hope, So she said, I'm going to go to Germany, because they had some experimental stuff going on there that hasn't been approved, by the FDA here in is it FDA? That's food, right?
Yeah, it's food
FDA.
and drug. FDA.
So here in the United States, and it was so heartbreaking, because the woman, the nurse or doctor, she said, was explaining to her what she had and what the tumor was doing, and she actually had cancer. Then she went into remission, and then it came back.
Ugh.
And her mother had died of cancer not long before, maybe 2 years before she got diagnosed with cancer. Yeah, and her sister also died of cancer.
Oh, smokes!
So it was in her family.
Wow.
And the woman says to her, I don't know how to put this lightly. She goes, but you really maybe have a year to live. And said it on camera, and it just got me, man. And you just see her face, and she insisted that everything get filmed, and even her friends were like, you don't want this on film. She's like, I want everything on film. I want people to see what I went through. I want people to understand, the pains of cancer. And so you see all her chemotherapy and everything. Oh, it's just it's so heartbreaking. And she was such a vibrant, beautiful woman. And to see her,
I had the poster.
Yeah, everyone had that iconic poster
with the red bathing suit.
That's right. If that was her choice to do the one piece, they tried to make her do a bikini, and she refused and did the one piece.
Came out perfect.
Isn't that amazing?
As far as I'm concerned.
As far as the whole country was concerned.
I'm thinking, and I didn't buy it. Dig this. There was used to be at the Mid-State Mall, which is not a mall, it's a strip plaza. It's been there since the 50s. They used to do like a sidewalk sale. All the stuff that wasn't moving. Bring it out front, and if it was $5, you sell it for $1.50 and get it out of here.
Right.
And we went over one night with some friends of ours lived across the street. I forget why, but we went. And Mr. Patton, who lived across the street, we all went, and he came up with this. I was in 6th grade, I think, so I was 11, And he said, "Hey, John, what do you think about this?" I'm like, "Oh, hey, wow, that's really something, Mr. Patton. I'd seen it on TV and everything, but I wasn't going to get that. What would my mother and father think? You know what I mean?" So it was a quarter. So he bought it, and I thought he just bought it. He was going to put it down in the basement or out in the garage or something, and you go to leave and get out of the car to go home. He goes, "Here you go, John. Congratulations. Put it up where you can enjoy it." I'm like, "Oh." I'm like, inside, I'm like, "Yes." And I'm like, "Uh-oh, what's Mom and Dad going to do?" They didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, it's such
They
a
didn't
wonderful poster. It
It
really
did-
is.
and
And
'cause
it,
she's a
and it
beautiful
represents
She's
a
beautiful
time. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. But it was, so I watched that. And I was crying a couple times. Very hard to watch. It's very hard to watch someone die in such. I mean, it was an hour, long special, but and it was obviously sped up but she does have her own film that you can watch, and it literally just takes you through the journey right to her death.
Oof.
It's really difficult, really, especially when you've had my mother passed of cancer, and I
Right.
watched her go through that as well. So it was really difficult for me to watch. So here I am in my living room crying, saying, "Oh, this is just a horrible thing." And the next show that ends, what do you think comes on next?
Marilyn Monroe.
Worse.
Oh.
Well, not worse. I guess not worse, but for me, I guess, was
Michael Jackson. Same day.
That was the same day. You're absolutely right, which is so weird because it kind of almost took away from Farrah Fawcett's death
Correct.
because it was the same day. But it was the death of JFK Jr.
Oh, that was.
And that was a
yesterday.
rough one. That
Back
was
in '99.
That
wasn't
it was. Yes, it was
20 years?
20 years, which is so weird because I remember exactly what I was doing. It's really weird because the guy I was seeing at the time, someone actually was my last boyfriend before I moved to Jersey, that I've spoken about. But at the time, we were on and off for many, many years. For 20 years, we were on and off. But at that time, it was a new relationship, and we were just kind of, not really in a relationship, I guess, hooking up, whatever it was. 20 years ago, I was young. Anyways, and he slept it was the first time he slept in my house. I'll never forget, it was really weird. And he never slept in my house, and he had slept in my house, and I remember that morning, I could hear it in the living room on the TV, with the TV on. We had kept it on all night, and we were in the bedroom. And he stayed in bed, and I got up, and it said John F. Kennedy, and I missed the junior part. And I remember saying, "Why are they talking about John F. Kennedy's death?" Like, I'm thinking about John F. Kennedy. I'm talking about, the former
1963,
president.
of course.
So I'm thinking, oh, was this the anniversary of JFK's death? Was it today? Like, now I'm going through my... So, you see the cameras, and you see that they're showing the ocean, and you see the news reports, and I'm thinking, I remember that moment. I was just confused. Because I'm like... Because I couldn't believe it was JFK Jr., and I think I just had a moment of like, well, this doesn't make any sense to me. And here's my little connection with JFK Jr., which is pretty crazy. Carolyn Bessette, before she worked for Calvin Klein, which is where she met JFK Jr., she was a
Right.
personal assistant at Calvin Klein, and she actually dressed JFK for an event, and that's how they met.
Oh,
I don't know if you knew that.
I had forgotten about that. You're right.
Yeah, but she used to work for the Lyons Brothers, which is a group that owns nightclubs in Boston. And it was actually my roommate worked for the same club, the same company, the Lyons Brothers. And we used to have parties at my house, and Carolyn Bessette actually came to one of the parties.
Oh, I'll be darned.
And mind you, was young, and I remember seeing her in the office when I would go see my roommate.
Right.
So my roommate worked with. I didn't work with her, but so when she ended up dating JFK Jr., we're all like, oh, there's Carolyn Bessette. Remember, she used to work for the Lyons Brothers in Boston. But I just remember it really struck me hard when I think when you watch the documentary and you see how they died and why they died, it was so unavoidable. So it's like that weird, like, you see what happens with Farrah Fawcett right there, and that's
Right.
cancer. It's cancer, you know. But then you see this, and you're like, man. And they took you through the last day of his life.
Right.
And this is the craziest thing. And I don't know if you know anything about the way he died, but he was a pilot,
Right.
but he was not instrument trained.
Correct.
So he was only trained based on visual sight
And he was flying
and weather.
at night.
He was, well, he wasn't supposed to be.
That's right.
Everything was like an error. Like it was like everything happened
Era.
in a strange era, he ended up running late. So everyone was running late, and that's why it ended up being, and he wasn't going to go, but then he changed his mind, and then he was supposed to go then, but he didn't go, and he wasn't supposed to fly. Like there were so many weird circumstances that played into him being, and he'd always flown with a co-pilot. He never really flown, so he was flying from New York City to the Cape
The Fairfield
for a
Airport
wedding.
up off of Route 46. I know right
That's
where it is.
right. And the strangest thing, and they were saying how when you are, so that day was extremely overcast. There was very, very low visibility, and they said he had no business taking off that day. But he kept saying, reassuring that, well, we're going to get there before it gets cloudy. But because he kept running late, he was running late and didn't get on the plane in time, it was already too overcast, so he never could see.
Right.
And was a visual pilot. So the instruments meant nothing to him. It's
Wow.
like nothing.
Yeah, it was all a
And he
bad
had-
comedy of errors.
Correct. And you had Carolyn Bessette and her sister, who was a twin. I don't know if you knew that.
I
So
did.
Lauren was part of a twin. So there were three sisters. And they said, this is the thing that just, and so they said that when they traced it, that he was flying, couldn't see, and he was thinking that he was going down when in fact he was going up.
Oh,
So he thought he was descending, and he was in fact was ascending. And so what he did is he pulled up, thinking that he was going to go up, but instead he went straight down.
oh,
So he was confused between what was above and what was below. So when
Wow.
he was pulling up, he thought he was going up, when in fact he should have been. In fact, he went down. And another thing they showed is that the way the flight went is he's supposed to follow the coastline.
right.
He's not supposed to go out to the ocean. So the coastline, and they showed the whole path as how it comes from the airport into the Cape along the island. And they showed his path and how he just deviated. So he started going out towards the ocean, not knowing. He didn't know where he was.
Wow.
So he spun and he went down and crashed. And apparently they all died instantly. And all three of them were found in the fuselage, like in the plane still strapped to the seats.
Yeah, yeah.
All three of them. And it was like, and they showed, his whole life and how he used to bike ride around Manhattan, and after, losing his father and his uncle, who was like a second father to him after his father died,
I'm sure.
watching them get murdered and still having that feeling of like, I don't need to have Secret Service with me. I need to just live my life, and I'll bike at night in Manhattan. And at that time, there was a lot of
Bad
crime.
stuff going on. Absolutely. Growing up then.
Yeah.
Because he's a few years older than us. What? Because what was he, 2 and
Well,
63?
he was
So what? He's
not
probably
would have
about-
been. Well, he was like I
59,
think
60?
6 years old, or he was like when he did the salute.
He was like 2 or 3.
I think it was 2 or 3. Was he
Oh,
older
yeah.
than that?
No.
I was thinking more 4 or 5.
He was a little, no, he was a little boy.
Okay, I know he was a little
little
boy, but for
boy.
some reason I was thinking. So the year that JFK died, so that year he was
63.
3
so
or 4,
let's just say he
63,
was
4,
3. So I'm
5,
going to
6,
say
7,
he's
68.
he would have been about 59, 60 years
Yeah,
old.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was just so. It was just like a useless death. I hate to say it like that, but it just seems like to me it was like so friggin' unavoidable. So unavoidable.
Well, it's unnecessary.
Unnecessary. And just the way, just everything about it. And all I could think about was him not being able to see, and the girls in the plane with him probably scared to death, and him not being able to know where he's going. I can't even fathom it. I can't even fathom it. So then I watched Farrah Fawcett and I watched JFK Jr. And literally those 2 hours I spent, by the end of the second hour after the JFK Jr. thing,
Went through a whole box of Kleenex.
I seriously thought I was having a breakdown. I was by myself. I'm sitting there in the living room and I'm like, and the first thing I'm thinking is like, what do I got to do something with my life. I got to do something with my life. I got to change my life.
Oh.
I'm really thinking that because I'm thinking, look at these people. Like, one died of cancer, one died in a plane crash, and death happens all the time. Don't get me. Of course. But when something affects you like that, you kind of go, what am I going to do with the next half of my life as my birthday approaches? Like, what am I going to do? I have to do something different.
Not to be a wise guy, but
I have to do something different. And you know what? My biggest complaint in life is when people say, poor me, I'm stuck with this. This is the way it is. There's nothing I can do. Like, I hate that. I hate people who do the poor me. I hate people who do that. Because I always think, you know what? If you can change it, change it. If you're healthy and you can change it, you change it.
Mm-hmm. I do.
And I thought to myself, I'm healthy. I have to change something in my life.
Well, sometimes it gets changed for you, so to speak. And that's at that particular moment, when someone says, yeah, we're going to go a different direction and you're not coming with us.
Sure. But doesn't that mean...
At that moment, though, it smacks, it hurts hard for that moment. And let me tell you what, there have been a few moments in my life where that has been the case. The first time, it hurt me awful, okay? Because now I'm like, what am I going to do?
Right.
It's like 1990. I'm 26 years old, and the place where I was working at the former Pennsylvania Network in the Atlantic Building on Broad Street in Philadelphia. I'm there a month, and all of a sudden they called us all in and said, "Hey, listen, everybody, you know what we're doing? We're doing good work here. You can all stay if you want to, but we can't pay you." Oh. I'm like, I'm out. And I'm on the train, coming up from Philadelphia to where I parked the car in Yardley. And on the train, I'm like, what the heck just happened? Oh, my God, you got to be kidding me. And it just, again, youth and experience. But there have been other times to where, you're slugging along, and oh, poor me, this place sucks, but I have to, okay, for whatever reason. And all of a sudden, it's like, we're going to go this way, and we're not going to be able to bring you along. So, we're done here. And I would get out to the car and be like, yes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's that old adage, one door closes, another door opens. It's
and you're exactly correct. At 20-something years old, it's a tough concept to wrap your mind around. Right. At 30-something, 40-something, 50-something, it's infinitely easier as life, time, and circumstance unfold to where it just is what it is. There's... I say all the time about that kind of thing. Okay, so then, whatever. Whether it was one thing or another. Fine, let me go. Well,
it's like what happened to me, a year ago. It was the same thing. I think that at that moment, I was devastated. I was pissed.
Yeah.
I was, and it was wrong. What happened to me? It was wrong on so many levels, and eventually, But my point being is that, I left that place thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I had a good solid month of just, crying and screaming. And I got really angry and really aggressive. And I just wanted to beat people up. I mean, I was so angry. But then, eventually I got over that hump and I found another job. And I said, you know what? Not only am I in a better place, but thank God I'm not there anymore. I really say that because the stress that I encountered and the aggression and all that stuff, as you get older, you realize what's important, what your priorities are.
Absolutely.
And the most important thing is your health.
Yeah.
Your health, your mind, your spirituality, your well-being.
Yep.
It's so important. And you know what? And I say this all the time, you work at a job where you're miserable and you hate your life and you hate the people around you, then friggin' get out. Because let me tell you something, it goes so fast.
Oh, yeah, it does.
It goes so freaking fast. And I think this is like a good segue to say I really, really think it's important. There's a mutual friend that John and I have. His name is Scott. I'm going to say his full name. I don't care. Scott Jellyman.
Yep.
He is going to get brain surgery in a week. And he is a good friend of ours and a friend of our friends and a former coworker.
Yep.
Very, very good person. Served our country.
Yes,
He's a vet. And just a great guy. And he was doing, right now they're on sabbatical, but they were doing the show with Chris, head to head, that we promoted all the time. And I've been on their show. He's been on, they've been on this show.
Our show on Veterans Day.
Yes, on Veterans Day. And Scott is just a good dude, good person, family guy. And he kind of went through what I went through at that place. That's how screwed up they are, you know. You don't honor our vets, anyway. But anyway, I want to, send positive vibes and love and positivity and good spirits and prayers and everything, and everybody out there, if you can send the same to our friend Scott, that he goes through a safe surgery and comes out on the other side perfectly healthy. That would be awesome.
Well, and not for anything, and people who know me on social media, particularly on Facebook, I will say, here's a person, here's the thing, like the story I forwarded about a week ago about Jim Rice used to play outfield for the Boston Red Sox back in the 70s.
I do
and 80s.
actually know Jim Rice, yeah.
Long story short, there was a little girl, I say long story short, sorry about that, but to condense it better, there was a little girl got hit by a foul ball, and it was not good. It looked very bad. And here's Jim Rice, professional baseball player for the very great, even back then, Boston Red Sox. He went into the stands and literally, because it was going to take too long for
the ambulance
EMTs to arrive, he went, picked her out of the stands, took her down underneath, through the clubhouse, and had the Red Sox medical staff begin to tend to her immediately until, the EMTs and so forth showed up. Now, I tell you that because I reposted and said, here is a true A member of Real Town who exhibits B, the Real Town way. That's the Real Town way. Stuff like that. Our friend Scott Jellyman, he is a member of Real Town. He's a resident of Real Town.
That's right.
He, he's a good guy. He's a knucklehead. He's a funny guy. He's always breaking chops, busting onions. But you know what? He's a good fellow. He's a good man. He's right on it like a cheap suit in a rainstorm. And it's the quintessence of the Real Town way. Okay, so to think of people like him and him specifically in a positive, upbeat, can-do, of good cheer, get it done, let's go kind of an attitude, that's the Real Town way. So if it's one of you or if it's 1,000 of you, it doesn't matter. Again, positive, upbeat, of good cheer, can do, get it done, thumbs up all the way to our friend Scott and whomever else you may know who's going through whatever they may be going through, personally, professionally, maybe the medical report's not great, go ahead. That's this exude the Real Town way, even if it's kind of to yourself, but on behalf of whomever. Believe me, it matters. It all matters. It really does.
And we love you, Scott.
We do.
So prayers are with you, and we'll see you right through it.
See you after.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. We'll hang.
So then when you come out, around the corner, I can go, there she is. He used to do it to me all the time. Yeah, I'd be coming out of the men's room or coming into the kitchen, and he'd be like, hey, there she is. I'm like, really?
Jellyman. He is a trip. He is a trip. So I'm not going to be here next week.
Well, we will.
Should we postpone the show? Or do you want to talk for an hour and a half by yourself?
Let's noodle that over. Why don't we noodle it over? I'll noodle it over. And
I just tried to talk by myself for 10 minutes, and I was I need you.
I know.
I need you.
I need you like the winter needs the spring.
Like
the
it's
flowers
silly.
need the rain. I know.
It's silly. It's like I'm talking to myself. It's like weird. It's like I look like a psychopath.
No, you're fun. Well, you had Rube there doing your.
I was like, didn't you hear me? I went, Ruben, could you talk to me for God's sakes?
I did not. Because
and Ruben's like, you're doing fine. I'm like, I'm talking to myself. It's weird.
I did not because, and you know what? If we could, maybe let's wrap it because I'm a little. I got like the
Yeah,
heebie-jeebies
definitely,
about, Dad getting all on the ladder.
yeah, we definitely want to take care of Dad. That's
Buddy
very
boy
important.
turned 90 yesterday, and all of a sudden,
what?
90.
Oh my.
Yeah, he did. And here now today, the AC is.
No, yeah, you need that.
And the
AC
problem,
fixed.
the compound, and he's been. I can't get cool, so he's warmer than usual. So
Yep.
this is throwing him on his axis
We
a
need to
little
take care
bit.
of that.
So let's wrap it up so I can get out
Yeah.
up the highway and see what's doing.
Yes.
And that'll be that.
And yeah, and so next week, well, we'll see.
Next week, you know what? We'll play.
I won't be here.
It might be a best of Real Town. You just
It just
never
might be.
know.
I just yeah, I got a dinner. I got a dinner with new employees at my new dance studio.
Nice.
So
Now you gotta do.
I got to do what I got to do.
Got to do.
Got to do it.
Got to do.
All right, my friend.
That's all of it. Hey, who loves you? We do. Okay. Thanks for
We
checking
love
into
you.
Wheeltown.
Wheeltown.
And well, yes, said
Wheel
Elmer Fudd.
wabbits.
Oh, well, welcome to
Well,
Wheeltown.
wabbits. Wheels.
Thanks for checking into Real Town.
Yeah.
Okay, check us out on the
We miss you.
on the World Wide Web, on the Facebook. Don't you know the Facebook?
Yeah.
Real Town with John and Tracy, and
And also our podcast.
yes, of course,
as well.
of course.
Okay.
And pop in, slide by, give us a comment here and there, and until next time, we will catch you around the way in Real Town.
Real Town.
Bye.
Bye. Cue music.
I lost the flash drive. I'm looking for it.